Hello, 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 and welcome back to A Little Birdie Told You. I'm your host, Kristen Knight.
And I'm your host, Kelly Knight.
Do you think you can be kind, but also set boundaries, and also know yourself enough to have self-respect?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think so?
I think just boundaries in general is something that's like, I don't want to say you know your worth, but deep down you care a lot about yourself to know that you have to have boundaries between yourself and just like, I wouldn't just say like people, but just things in life. You know what I'm saying? Because the way people treat you, sometimes isn't the greatest. So it's like you have to put a boundary there and be like, yeah, sure, I'm like a nice person and all, but like if somebody's going to treat you bad, you can't sit there and give them all of your energy.
Well, people also treat you the way that they perceive you.
Yeah.
And I think that can come down to a lot of kindness.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think if people always expect something of you, it doesn't truly show someone who's kind deep down. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I feel like people will put all this pressure on you to be somebody.
Yeah.
They think kindness, because I want to kind of dive into kindness a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think people think kindness is somebody who's kind of naive.
Yeah, somebody that they can like take control over and use. Like I think a lot of people think, oh yeah, just because somebody's kind that they don't have boundaries and that they just like they don't have limits. So like
and self-respect.
Yeah, and self-respect of being like, oh yeah, they just let people push them around and you always see them so nice to people that you never see that side of them like come out and be like, why are you doing this? You know what I'm saying? Or just stand up for themselves in general. So when they do that, you're like, whoa, who is that? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a lot that way. Like I'm very nice and all, but it's like if somebody's going to sit there and really like, I wouldn't want to say like, if they like say my name in front of me, you know what I'm saying? They're saying something bad. Like I'm obviously going to stand up for myself, you know what I'm saying? But like, I'm also just very like, I don't really care, you do you.
I feel like there's this misconception because I think we think rude people, first of all, being rude is really easy. Anyone can be rude. We've all been rude at one point in our life. We've all probably said, yeah, it's a little rude of me to do that. Probably shouldn't have said that, or mean. And I hope not intentionally. Yeah. But let's face it, a lot of people are really rude and really mean. And they have this intensity where they just project all their insecurities onto other people. Now, the problem with that is I think we look at people who appear rude, like maybe somebody who's not your societal
The way I look at it though is, when somebody's like super mean, and I mean like the meaning mean, you know what I'm saying? Where they're actually generally like, they're not a nice person and they're like really talking bad about people. But then there's like a mean of being like somebody that's like just saying real facts.
But it's not even mean.
Yeah, but people sit there and they put on that whole thing like, oh, they're a mean person because they're like, you know what I'm saying? Just because people are insecure.
They're unapproachable.
And they just like, they think like the things that they're saying are rude when really they're saying like life facts.
Let me throw this out there is the people that say, oh, I'm so kind to everybody. I love everybody.
Actions
they're
speak
not.
louder
They
than
are literally
words,
not.
sweetie.
Okay, if somebody
Like,
tells you that I'm literally the kindest person you're ever going to meet in the world, just trust me with that. No, you're not. You're not kind.
Yeah.
Kindness, actually, let me just say this: it's the people that you would think are not kind.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that with everybody. You'll look at someone like, oh gosh, like they don't look like they're nice. They're very unapproachable. I would not talk to them. But then you get to know them. You're like, wow, this is the most genuine, kind soul I've ever met in my entire life. You look at them because you know why they appear that way with you? Because they don't want you pushing them around.
Yeah.
Somebody who has self-respect can be the most kindest person. You know why? Because they have boundaries. They know to completely remove themselves from toxic environments.
Yeah.
You know what? They select people.
Yeah,
they're like,
because
if
they know
you
who's
want to talk
fake.
to me, you want to talk to me and get to know me, let me just like see who you are and you approach me and then I'll figure you out from there. We'll dissect you little by little. If you get what I'm talking about, like your character. People who sit here and they present themselves as I'm so sweet to you. I love everybody. And I feel like we can kind of gather our little cliques from that.
Yeah.
But then when it comes down to it, they don't care about you.
No.
They don't care at all, but they tell you they do. They're these people that I feel like you'll notice them. They say, oh, I include everybody.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
nice. They only include, like, there's a difference here. I don't know how to exactly characterize it.
This is the way that I would, is they don't want to be around certain people that wouldn't be socially accepted.
Exactly.
Around them. So they have to choose the people that they're like, oh, well, okay, for instance, a lot of girls do this. They'll sit there, and I'm sure it's the same thing with guys. I say this all the time. but a lot of girls will sit there and be like, oh yeah, they're a certain style, you know what I'm saying? Or just like, I don't even know, they're just like a big clique, you know, you see that a lot, like there's just that group of girls, and they can't let another girl be friends with all of them if, you know, she just has a different style. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't
even make any sense.
Like, it doesn't make sense, but like that's just the way that they go about it. Like, if girls, like, they, like, you know what I'm saying? There's like a girl that's like very, like, I don't even know, like, if they're all serious, they can't have somebody funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how they are. Like, so it's like, I don't know.
I feel like there's also this kindness where we only treat certain people kindly. And what I mean by that is we'll single out the people that kind of we appear societally as not the norm.
Yeah.
So we'll be nice to them because it's like we get some sort of artificial satisfaction out of treating people that way. Like, you'll see those people who say, oh, you see them treating so-and-so kindly because they're different, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But they won't treat normal people or the people who are, you know, maybe considered of the norm or respect themselves kindly because they look at them and say, they don't deserve kindness. Everybody deserves kindness. You know why? Because we're all human beings at the end of the day. We all come from different places. We're all going through different things in our own silent battles. I don't know what anyone else is going through, but does that mean I'm going to treat them badly but still have my boundaries? No. I can have my boundaries. I can be who I am and be respectful towards myself and treat myself kindly, but I can also treat you kindly at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And some people who you look at them, you're like, oh, wow, they're so rude to people. But did their actions tell you that? Because they're probably the person that actually makes other people feel comforted. They're the person that actually makes other people feel noticed. And I notice that all the time. I notice these people, they are kind to people, but they make people feel like they're very unnoticed in the world. They push them to the side. They're kind to their friends, but they're not kind to just normal strangers.
Yeah.
I just think there's a little bit of a tendency there to say, oh, we're going to allow these people we're going to be kind to these people. We're not going to be kind to others.
That's like literally the exact definition of don't judge a book by its cover, because you could sit there and think, oh yeah, like I've heard so many good things about someone. And then when you finally meet them, you're like, they are not what I expected. You know what I'm saying? Because people will sit there and the people that they like, they're going to treat good, right? But then the people that they don't really know, they're like, oh, I don't care what they think because it doesn't matter.
But is the reason they like them only because they're getting what they want?
Yeah,
out of them?
exactly.
Is that the case?
Probably.
And you know why they treat people badly who appear rude or appear unapproachable? Because they think they don't deserve it. They think they're rude. Sometimes people are actually rude and bottle themselves up because they were so kind to other people that they actually got hurt out of it.
Yeah, and they feel used.
And they feel unappreciated and unvalued. I felt that way a lot. I felt like, oh, I'm so kind to everybody. I'm so nice. And then the moment you get hurt, you're like, no, I'm good with this. I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm done with being kind.
Yeah.
I'm done with caring about people, because you're like, am I just going to get hurt every time I'm nice to people? Because being kind is something that you actually have to have the power over. Like I said, it's easy to be rude, but it's not easy to sit while everyone else looks at you like, don't do that, don't talk to that person, and go up and talk to that person and say, you know what, I'm going to be kind. Not only that, but being kind is a power that when people talk back to you and they say things to you that might hurt you deep down, you have the power to sit back and not clap back at them and say certain things like, oh, you could go at it with them, but instead hold your ground and say, you know what? I'm going to actually be kind. Kill them with kindness. I bet you've heard that phrase before. And it's true, because when you kill somebody with kindness,
they're looking for a different
they're
response.
looking for a reaction.
And when you're not giving them that reaction or that response, they're like, what the heck was that? Like, what in the world was that? Like, they were supposed
confused.
to come back at me and start like an argument or something, and you're just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
like,
I don't have the time
I gotta
of day
go
for
on
this.
with my day. Like,
yeah, you don't want to be
things going on.
kind. You want to be rude to me.
Exactly.
I have discipline enough to walk away from this situation. Good luck with your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's always that opposite reaction, because people who are actually rude and mean are looking for those reactions. They want to start something. They want that fuel, because misery loves company. They want to be miserable, and they want you to be miserable too. So there are people that are going to hate on you. They're going to comment negative things. They're going to just judge you and criticize you over and over again repeatedly, because they want you to start following what they're doing. They want you to fall into that cycle where you're judging yourself. When people are kind to you, you want to be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
People who are kind to themselves, and they're projecting that onto you. We project things onto other people. If you have the actual sincerity to be kind and you're kind to other people, you're probably kind to yourself, and you're looking to boost other people in life. And I don't mean there's these people that sometimes like will say nice things to people, but I don't feel they actually mean it.
Yeah, it's like a sarcastic way of being like, oh yeah, you look so
like
pretty.
You go girl, you got this. But
and
then
really it's like, oh,
5
I hope
hours
you do
later
terrible.
they're talking to the other girls about you. Oh my god, she did this. But look for people who are actually genuine, and those genuine people are sometimes the people that don't tell you things right away. They'll watch you, but they do support you and they're around you and they're kind, but they don't have to always express it.
Another thing though is like, I've said this with guys too, you know, when somebody just loves bomb you, like just love bombs you with like a bunch of things or just like a bunch of compliments as like a girl.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like, sure, to a point, if you're like really close friends with somebody, then maybe, but like as just like somebody random or just like, I don't know, like girls that like
make you feel really good about yourself.
Yeah, like all of a
so
sudden randomly and really they talked bad about you before.
You're like kind of like, where's this coming from?
Like,
I feel like they're just doing it to get what they want.
Yeah, like there's something that they want from you and they're like, oh, let me be nice to her. So like,
let me just kind of like love bomb them. Let me friend bomb them with compliments. Like if someone compliments you a bunch, I don't really think that's being kind. That's words. Like we just said, follow actions. If somebody does something to you that's kind, and that could be just smiling at you, not even saying anything. Sometimes I'm somebody, and if I see somebody, I'm not trying to, characterize anybody as who's kind, but I do feel that people should be included. I feel that you shouldn't exclude other people because of it's certain identities or who they are as a person. I feel people are people at the end of the day. Now, if they've proven to you that they're a cruel person, maybe they've got something going on that's making them that cruel. Okay. And you shouldn't judge them for that, but maybe you can remove yourself from that situation. I do believe that. I don't believe that being kind can't have those boundaries. You know what I mean by that? I think you can have those boundaries and be kind.
Yeah.
You can set boundaries and say, I don't want to be around these type of people, but I am a kind person deep down.
Yeah.
We shouldn't say that about people. Oh, you leave people out. You're not kind. Well, you know what? If you leave people out who are ruining your and disturbing your peace, I should say, then maybe there's a reason why you're refraining from being around that person. That's good. But I mean, just leaving people out to leave people out, that's a different story.
Yeah, that are like
people.
Like that they haven't done anything bad to you and they're actually like nice people. Like that's just,
Like it's kind of the same thing in relationships. People are like, well, why are you, throwing away this person, not throwing away this person, but, removing this person from your life. And sometimes if people disturb your peace and you don't feel that they're matching with that energy and they're not being kind to you, there's a different story there.
The way I look at it though is if something or someone is disturbing your peace, just remember that there are other people and other things that will bring you peace more than that did. You know what I'm saying? Like a bunch of people are like always like, oh, well, I can't find any better people or like happier people or like people that are nicer than this that like won't treat me better than this. Really, you will. You know what I'm saying? If there's like a right group to hang around with.
It's actually yourself. That's
yeah,
down to
no,
it.
that's
It's really
true
just
too.
yourself.
Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with hanging out with people. Obviously, we all like company.
I mean,
but,
don't tell me you're gonna find anyone better who's gonna treat you better.
No, yeah,
because it's yourself.
literally, it's yourself.
Treat yourself the way you want other people to treat you, and that's exactly what I'm saying. You have to be kind with
and if
other
you
people.
don't love yourself, you're gonna have people treating you bad because you don't realize how much you're worth. And you have to realize how much you're worth in order to be like, oh, I have to let these certain people go, or like sit there and like actually put boundaries and not let people like sit here and treat me this way.
And that's why I kind of do feel like people who isolate themselves from all of that, and we quote unquote call them maybe rude or somebody,
or like just quiet.
Yeah,
in general,
quiet
like,
and judgmental. Maybe it's because they do know their worth and they aren't going to just present themselves to everyone so everyone can take advantage of them. They kind of secrete all of them. They're like, I'm not going to just allow everyone to freeload me and stomp on me like I'm a doormat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's a difference there. I feel like if you let everyone stomp on you like you're a doormat and just walk all over you, you don't have self-worth.
No.
You don't love yourself enough to pick yourself off the floor and say, I'm not settling for this. Somebody who says, I can actually care about other people and have empathy, but still isolate myself from toxic environments and be who I am and have these boundaries and still be kind. There's a difference there.
It's like putting yourself first. And I'm not being like, oh yeah, in a selfish way. But at the end of the day, yourself is always going to be there. These people aren't. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody's disturbing your peace and they're not treating you right,
loving yourself isn't first. Selfish.
No, it
isn't. And I know we're going all over the place here, but they all tie in together at the same time. At the end of the day, they all tie in together. It makes sense if you think about it. And loving yourself isn't a selfish habit.
No.
It's something that you should do. If people call you selfish,
it's about yourself.
That should be a compliment. It should be a compliment.
Yeah, to be honest, it should. Like,
if people are like, oh, you're so
there's
selfish.
a different way though, because you know how some people are selfish, and like I feel like if it like, I don't know how to say it. Like
if it hurts other people,
if it hurts
impacts
other people
them negatively,
and it sits there and impacts them in a bad way, then I would consider yourself selfish. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
When you're
exactly.
like, you're putting yourself, like there's a difference between like putting yourself first and like,
and disregarding other people's wants.
Yeah,
what
and
they want
putting
out of
yourself first and like what you want and the things that make you happy.
Exactly.
But if it's something that's like, oh, I don't know, like I can't even think of.
You know, if being kind to yourself makes you happy and other people find that and they're like, oh, you're so selfish because you're taking time for yourself to do something for your self-care, and you know, maybe journal and do a few things for yourself. You're selfish.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's just
there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's you just actually being kind to yourself.
That's like self-care. Everybody needs just time by themselves. Like I even notice that a lot. Like I just want to be alone, and it's nothing to deal with other people. It's just like myself. I like being around myself.
And those people, I feel, actually project kindness into the world. Maybe they're not going to just be all fake and come up to you and say, oh my God.
And I feel like sitting there, I feel like sometimes just sitting there and feeling like, oh yeah, like self-love and just self-care and like taking time for yourself. You don't take other people for granted, and you don't take yourself for granted. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like a lot of people, when you're always around the same people, you tend to sit there and like, we all have to be honest, you take some people for granted, right? And you don't mean to, but it's just like, that's life. That's emotions. That's how we all are. That's just,
you're used to their company.
It's the environment. That's literally how it's going to be, right? But like, that's why you have to sit there and like balance and put boundaries.
And those boundaries come from loving yourself. And if someone's being a little rude to you, and maybe you're somebody who's kind, instead of, you know, clapping back and giving them a reaction, walk away or say, you need a little bit of self-love.
Yeah, self-love.
Just self-love.
Take some time for self-love for yourself.
We're going to throw out that self-love for you today.
Yeah.
You're all going to get some self-love. We hope that you find yourself and give yourself kindness, because not only do other people deserve kindness, but
yourself does too.
Yeah,
so.
you deserve kindness. You need to love yourself and give yourself that kindness and talk to yourself like you're talking to the people that you're projecting kindness onto.